Hello again, everybody. I'm Larry Hamilton. Welcome to my YouTube painting channel. Thank you for watching. Today we're going to do an oil painting, and it's a little bit larger than my normal size. We're going to do an 18 by 24 painting on canvas panel, and hope you like it. It's one that I actually did a long time ago, about 10 years ago now actually, and I thought I would do it again. It seemed to be appropriate for someone who maybe is has a little colored blindness. That's really how I did this to start with. Was one of the students that I was teaching back in 2008 said he couldn't tell one color from another, so we did this kind of black and white pretty much painting, and a lot of people liked it, so I hope you do too. We have only 3 paints in this particular palette, and those are pretty simple: titanium white, midnight black, and alizarin crimson. Those are all Bob Ross colors. I have pretty much everything of Bob Ross set up here today. I have my the big brushes, the 2-inch brushes. I've got the 1-inch landscape brush. I've got the round brush, half round it's called. I've got several fan brushes that I'm going to use, which those are always good for making trees and making nice snow scenes. Have my couple of script liners here, and then I have my painting knife as usual. I actually have also a sort of a filbert here. It's a floral filbert, it's called. So sometimes I like to use a filbert for some of my trees. I don't know if I'll use that today or not, but anyway, that's my brushes, that's my paints, and I'll get this thing cleared off here and we'll get going. I do have, you may know I also have my liquid white. It's a little hard to see on this plate, but that's it, and I'll be putting it over the whole canvas today. No sketches, no gray background, anything like that. We're just kind of going to do pure Bob Ross today. So there's my palette for you looking on live, and let me see if I can get it set up just a little better here so we can let me zoom in a little bit here. There we go. Something like about that. Okay, so got the palette there overlaying, and got the canvas here. It's a canvas panel. It's not soft canvas, so it's going to be kind of hard. You can hear it. It's kind of rattling back and forth a little bit, but anyway, that's what we're going to work on. So let's get going. Get my liquid white, and we're going to cover the entire canvas here with liquid white, and a real thin coat. I don't want a lot of liquid white on here. It's got to be very, very thin. Hope I have enough of my palette here. It's hard to see where it is. Probably should have done this before you guys tuned in. It would have been a little better maybe. I got some, got just a little bit of some marks on here, a little bit of graphite to kind of show me where I want the mountains. I don't think Bob Ross ever did that, but he did have copies, as you know, of paintings. His painting, whatever he was painting, he always had a copy of it down below the camera view, so he could look at it and use it as a guide. And that's all I want to do for that. That's probably all the liquid white I'll use. I may use a little bit in a while, but right now that's all I'm going to use. All right, so let's start on this sky. I'll get titanium white going, and a little bit of alizarin crimson, just a touch, and I'm going to start putting that on here first. Whoa, sliding around on me here. Put a little of that alizarin crimson on right here. I'm using this big 2-inch brush, and alizarin crimson is a very potent, powerful color. It does tend to take over if you're not careful. Okay, so that's that. I think I had a little more red, a little more of this alizarin here in the sort of where the trees, let's see, it's where these 2 mountain ranges meet right here. I'm going to give myself some ability to lighten that up and make it misty looking in there. And I don't want to forget the area where the snow is down here. We got some color in it down here, both sides. Maybe a little bit too much there, but that's why I said that alizarin just sort of eats things alive. A little more white in there, thin it down a little bit. Okay, so this is sort of a water area here that's kind of frozen over and snowed over. And then I have my all of my sky up there. Okay, so far I haven't washed out the brush. I'm going to start picking up some of this midnight black now. Everything's going to be gray and shades of gray, and so I'm going to put in some of that in the sky now, along with just going to pop it in here and let it sort of work its way into the paint, into the okay. More white. Okay, so let's take this now and see if we can blend it. Just kind of wiping out the brush a little bit, not too much. I'm going to take some more white now and come back, see if we can put in a few things that look more like clouds in here. Get some swirly patterns going. Sort of pride myself on not having done a painting before you guys when I try to paint them here, but something like this, I haven't done it for 10 years. I guess it's maybe it qualifies as almost not having done it before. Okay, so we're getting a few bits of darks and lights and clouds and shadows and that sort of thing. Okay, I want to wipe this brush out again as much as I can, get a lot of the paint out of it, and we're going to just start again very lightly. Things, get some of these out of there. All right, I'm going to leave that for now. That may be may need a little bit more touch up on that. I don't know. I could probably put just a little more alizarin in there. I think it looks like it's a little bit light in some areas where I want them above these mountains here. One big old brush, that's all I'm using so far. Okay, there we go. All right, that's not bad. Next, we're going to start going into these mountains and see if I can get just a little bit of, see if I can figure out where I want them. They're about right in here somewhere, right in there. I want this set of mountains there. I've got another one over here. There's almost no liquid white on that paint, on that paper, on that canvas. So it's very, very thin. It's just enough to let this paint move. And I just picked up a whole bunch of white paint in my brush, which I didn't really intend to do, but I'm gonna, since I've got it, I'm gonna come in and put just a few more things on these clouds. And just buff them up just a little bit here. Okay, something like that. And I think I'm going to get my smaller brush here and just give it a very, very light. Okay, so I think I'm going to stop on that sky. All right, now let's see what we can do with these mountains here. We've got to take my white. I need to get several shades of gray here. So I'm going to get some that's light, some that's darker, some that's very dark, almost black. If we can get three shades of gray or 3 shades of anything, we can sort of give three-dimensionality to most objects. So, okay, so let's start here with, it's probably too dark, but let's lighten it up just a little. Okay, so right in about here, it's where our first mountain wants to go, about right here. Got another one coming down over here, about like this. He's going to be darker maybe. Start with. Does go on fairly quick when you're using these big brushes. These ones in the back have to be lighter than the one in front, so we want to lighten them up just a little so they look like they do recede. That's called atmospheric perspective. See, they as they fade to the distance, they get lighter and lighter. Start very dark up here, and because they're closer to us, so I'm making this look like they're going receding in the distance that way, which is slightly different from what I did on my original painting. The original painting sort of had them all kind of lined up behind each other here. This gives more atmospheric perspective when you do something like this. It looks lighter over here, gradually getting darker over this way, and I'm going to make this on the left side even darker yet. And here, putting in some punches of dark black. A little more. One thing about this, I don't have to think too much about what brush to use or what color to use. It's all pretty laid out for me here. I'm just going to come down, bring this all down, right down to where the bottom of these trees are going to be across here. There's a row of trees across the bottom. I'm just going to go ahead and paint this all out now and have it covered. Make this a little darker over here maybe. All right. Very fast. All right, let's see what I want to do now. I want to take my, I'm going to take this small fan brush and start working on some little finer details. Make this a little more pointed, a little sharper edge here, sharper edge back here. Put some bumps in it. Don't make it just straight and smooth. Make it look like it has something going on in there. This midnight black, when you start mixing it with white, it really fades out fast. I'm just putting in some dark marks that help me. I want to show this off with some snow around it, so I'm making some extra dark shapes in here that I can paint around with the white. I want to make a pretty distinct break here, so it looks like we have a split in this mountain like that. By just making a little darker here, I can make you believe and give you enough of a optical illusion that there's a break in this mountain right here. These fan brushes are wonderful. This is going to get covered up over here, so I don't care too much about it right now. I'll just leave it the way it is, and whatever shows through, shows through. Okay, let's go back here to this guy and see if we can put just a few marks in him to show where the sun's coming from, so that it looks like we have some dark on this side. I'll put a little bump in him right there. Maybe a little bigger bump. There we go. And this is going to kind of get faded out into some of the mist in this area. Okay, just a touch more black on here. Just want to darken it just a little so we have a kind of a clear line of distinction between these mountains. And then this last one over here, I'm going to just put in just very light darkness here. I'm going to try to make this not look like a clone, if I can. Just a little bit of stuff going on there. I think I've got another set of mountains here. I'm actually forgetting a whole set of mountains right here. Wow. Wake up. Right in here, there's a set of mountains that are right in here. I totally forgot that. Yeah, there we go. There's the other set of mountains that kind of fall inside there. Okay. Wow, almost blew that before I got started, didn't I? That liquid white comes through. Whatever white you put on there, it just comes through and starts sort of making these paints fade. All right, now I'm getting another layer. Yeah, that's much better. Pull down and put some of this over here. So when you paint this, you can make this whatever color you want. I'm just doing it to kind of force myself to paint with 3 colors. I guess you call white a color. Some people may or may not call that a color. I don't know. Okay, so I want to make sure I have some dark in here. This is going to be a lot of trees along here, so I'm going to leave that the way it is. And over here I got some more All right, so there's some more just abstract marks in there. Look like something's going on. And I'm going to want to come across here now and put in a couple rows of trees across here. But let's put in that snow first. Let's go back there and get some snow on these mountains. I think I'm going to put on some with a knife. Try my palette knife here and see how it works. I know folks sometimes have trouble with the palette knife getting a nice roll of paint on it. If you've ever watched Bob Ross, you know he starts out with a nice roll of paint and comes up here and just sort of something like that. Wipe that paint off because it's picking up the black or gray that's underneath. So we've got a lot of snow here. Just a little roll of paint. Throw it on. Pull it down. Let the canvas take off whatever it wants. Clean the knife. Get some more paint. Put some over here maybe. There's just a little bit over here. That's probably too thick. Some of this is melding, I suppose. Might be just a little bit left over back here in some areas. That might be too much. Let's lighten it up a little bit. There we go. Here we got some coming down this way. All right, so we're going to put some trees and some mist in here. Same thing on the other side over here. Just a little bit more. Didn't have much of my brush or my palette knife that time. Go up here and put just a little bit on. Okay. Do I want any snow on those back mountains? Maybe I want just a little bit of something going on back here to help show maybe they're higher, a little further away. They're not quite as obvious. Just give them a little bit of a texture. Something like that. I think that's enough for that. Now, let's see here. I've got use this big old round brush and see if I can stamp in a few things. Make this foggy area look more consistent. It's not too obvious. All right, down here, got the same kind of thing going on. Let's put in some, take a little bit of liquid white in here and let's sort of stamp in some I'll put this row of, I hate that thumb makes all that noise. I'm going to try to hold it down a little bit if I can. A little bit of white, just taking a little bit of titanium white here and just sort of going over what's there to give me that little row of mist that I want across there. This is going to get faded out. I'm going to put now another row of trees, or 2 rows of trees maybe in front of this. It needs more white. There, something like this. Okay, that'll give me something to work with, won't it? All right, let's get our fan brush again, and we're going to start working on taking a bigger fan brush actually, and make some of this row of trees here along here. I think that's maybe not even wide enough. Let's see about this. Okay, let's try this. So I'm going to get some of this black and some white and get a gray. Now you have to get a gray that's darker than what's behind it, or you won't see the trees. So let's just start right in here somewhere and pop in some more darker. So this is the back layer of evergreen trees. The rest is going to get covered up, I think, so I'll just sort of pound it out here and not be too concerned with it. Put a few more dark shapes in there to kind of make sure we've got some of that working. All right, over here as we come across, let's do the same thing. This is again a back layer of trees, and we'll put another layer in front that's darker, but I want to be able to, I should be able to see this very lightly in the distance back there. All right, now let's come back and darken it down. Let's get some more black with a lot less white. Get this brush really filled up with some dark paint. Let's go down now the next layer down here. We're going to make this sort of come out into the water in some areas. Dark, dark, dark. I'm using a lot of black paint, a lot of white paint today. Darker, darker. There we go. And put a few more over here, maybe. These are just very simple, very simple. Anybody can do this. Get the right brush or two and you're all set. Okay, so now I want to start putting in some of my snow and another couple banks of trees. Snow going here. I'm going to get the I think I'm going to get my other fan brush. I'm using about 2 or 3 different fan brushes here, so I don't have to wash them out with thinner all the time. And so I'm going to start right in here somewhere and start connecting. Let's see, this wants to go. Actually had something like that. Goes up in here. Trying to paint in a section of snow here that's going to be behind the trees. So I want it to be very white, very bright right in here. Pull up some of this alizarin and get some of that reflection going on. Over here, same thing. I'm going to pull in some of this snow is going to go back, and these fan brushes are just fantastic. I can't say enough about how I like to use these things and make them all these little nooks and crannies back there on the back of this. So I want to make this sort of curve, like sort of concave, so that it looks like it's a valley here, which is what I really want. There's actually some water coming down. I'm going to put that in here in a second. But right now, this is just putting on some white snow everywhere I can find to put it, and to keeps the paint on the canvas. Let's start putting in a little bit of this. We've got some water coming in from over this way. This is helping tell the story too. You see that dark curve there, right? Coming up this way. All right, that looks like we got some water coming down this way, and it's gonna sort of zigzag back and forth in here. Something like that. Nice cold winter scene. Not quite winter yet, but we're getting ready for it in some areas, I know. So there's a little peninsula that sticks out here, and I'm going to see if I can get that put in like right about, let's see, where do I want it? It's like right about in here. It's going to have some darker values at the bottom. It's going to sort of stick out like this. It's going to connect with these other trees and other stuff going on here. But in this particular peninsula, we have some more trees. Let me go back and get this really dark black again, and we're going to put some bigger trees, slightly more distinct, in this area right here. See how that black fades to white very quickly? So you can see some of that white sticking through there, which is what I was hoping for. So you can see there's something going on behind there. There's snow, there's a bank of snow behind this. And we've got this little peninsula sitting here. And we're going to pull some of his snow out into this area here. Okay, see how that works? So over here I've got some darks going on. Okay, having this snow behind really is a nice feature. It's a nice design feature that you can use to make your painting. Certainly gives it more depth, and I want these trees to make sure they stand out from what's behind it. Otherwise, you'll miss the illusion I'm trying to give you. Here we're going to have some dark. I'm going to flick up a few dark things here. Okay, this comes back and it's going to come around. There's going to be some snow in here, and then we're going to have this sort of comes down like that. It comes toward us. So let's throw some of that in, and we'll get that on the paper, on the canvas. I'm going to leave some room back here for some more snow. Have any questions, put them in the chat window there. I'll be glad to try to answer or respond in some way. Okay, so we got some trees that are going to go up here. They're going to stick up above, so we want to wait for that. And in the meantime, let's put a little more snow in here, this area. Got snow back here. So this is going to be a sort of a cliff, a little bit of a cliff, I guess. Okay. How are we doing on time? Not too bad. All right. Let's see here. If I want to keep coming forward, see if I can finish off some more of this snow here. Throw in some more paint. Get some more liquid white in there. Let it flow a little bit more. Sort of going back over what I had if I need to make that. Let's see, I don't know if I pulled that out far enough here. I didn't, I don't think. I'll make sure I got plenty of snow here. All right. We're getting it done. This side over here on the right's got another set of dark shapes. That whole corner is blocked in, and this corner is blocked in. I want to fix this corner here. This is not quite right here. I think I want to put in a lot more, pull it out like this here, like and kind of rocky, kind of comes down that way. There we go. That's better. At least that's closer to what I painted originally. I don't have to match that exactly, but I wanted to try to match it as much as possible. All this over here is just sort of going to have some ground cover, and I'll use my big old round brush here in a minute to sort of finish that off. Got a bunch of rocks laying out here in the snow. Got a whole section of, where does this go? This kind of goes over this way. Let's put in some, pull it down, kind of get these blocked in. Different angle, don't want to have it the same angle. I actually don't want to have it the same size if I don't have to. Dark, 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 dark and darker. So when you're painting primarily black and white like this, it's a matter of values and shade, how much value you put in, how much contrast you can build to make things look like they should. So sometimes you have to put a lot more black over something to darken it up so it can be seen. Kind of like I did these trees back there in the background. I had to hit them with some really darker stuff so they stood out for you. And of course I messed it up a little bit. Fix that. All right, so we got stuff going on here. All right. Okay, I got a brush with black in it, a brush with white in it. Good question. Pat Ken asked, what pigments is midnight black? Does it lean green or blue? It leans blue. Generally, it's a bluish green. When you put white in it, it starts turning sort of a purplish color. So it doesn't have green in it. You can make it go green if you want to add some sap green or something, but primarily it's a cool blue black, I guess is the what I would call it. Okay, now so I got a couple of big trees going on here, about 3 trees going on over here. Got that in. Let's see. Ready for some rocks? Maybe I could put some rocks in. Let's try some rocks in that background, see if we can get that to start looking like I want it. I'm going to take my palette knife here and see if I can get a few small rocky looking things out here. I want them to sort of come over like they're along the bank, so I want this to make you think the bank of this river or creek or whatever it is. It's probably a river. is coming down this valley between these two areas that we're looking at through here. So I'm going to just put in some things that look kind of rocky-like, and some enough texture on them. Come back and put some highlights on top. They don't have to be completely white to be a highlight. They can be a sort of a gray. It's a little bit too gray, too white. Okay, look like they got some snow on them. That's kind of the idea. And then let's use our fan brush to, see right now they kind of look like they're glued on. You don't want to leave any rocks or anything look like they're glued on. So let's kind of pull them down just a little bit. See how that works? Very, very simple, very fast. It just kind of makes the bottom of them a little bit fuzzy, and it looks like they're partially covered in snow. Like that. So what I use about 2 minutes to make some rocks. Whoops, I just got black in my white brush. All right, let's get that out of there. Pull back some more white here, come back over it. One thing about oil paints, they're very forgiving. I don't know if any of you watch me paint watercolors, but they are not nearly as forgiving. You start making mistakes with watercolors, it takes a little work to fix them. Okay, so let's do this. All right, we've got that pretty well done. I don't know if I want to put any more down here or not. I might put another rock or two down here in the front if I don't forget. Let's just keep going on this, and these little curves in the middle here are what sort of tell you what's going on with the land. Remember Bob Ross talked about make the brush strokes go with the lay of the land. If the land's coming up, you want the brush strokes to come up. If it's flat, you want them to be flat. So we want these to, some of these to look like they're going down in. That's why these are angled this way. And the ones at the bottom are sort of leveled off. Okay, so that starts looking like it's certainly some water, maybe some icy water under the snow here. All right, let's hold off for that now. Now, I think it's maybe time to start putting in some of these big trees on the left side. So let's get our big fan brush here, and we're going to do the old Bob Ross, stab it and come down like this. There's one in. Pick up a little alizarin in here, make it a little bit more purple. Put one over here that's kind of like that. If I want some sun to show in this, like I kind of have the sun showing from the right, therefore anything that I put in on the left side will make it look like I'm keeping this the sun in the right place. So I don't want to have white shadows on this side and have white snow on the other side of the mountains. All right, we want to fix that. We don't want to. Okay, this one I'm going to have a little bit different angle. Right down in between there like this. Okay, so a little bit dark here and there. Make it darker on the left side. And let's put some more stuff around the bottom here. Let's put in some bushes and that sort of stuff. Dark. These are going to be all just some sort of bush that's around these trees in the bottom. I'm going to come back and put some snow on the top of that in a bit, but I want to get these really dark laid in first. Right? So we're going to put these in. We'll put in a few things here like this. All right. Put a couple more. All right. So what do we have to do now with these trees? We have to kind of connect them together. Make sort of a, turn it back and forth. These are traditional Bob Ross brush strokes. And I want these to sort of go together, these two here to go together, because they're close enough that their branches would tend to overlap. So let's make that happen. Like that. Very thin and skinny at the top. This is a little fatter. Give him a little. See, I'm trying to make this definitely darker than what's behind it. So it stands out. Otherwise, you're not going to see these branches. Put some here, over here. All right, make these a little darker. Make the dark, and then we come back and put the light on top of it, right? Okay, I don't want to totally block that off and cover that all in. I want it to show some of that snow through it. That sort of stuff. Put a few more things here. Haven't got my script liner out yet, but I'm going to throw in a few. Well, I've got this black going on this side. I might as well work on sort of finishing it off. Let's come in and put in a few tree-like things sitting here. Like this. A few things that sort of connect together, kind of give the indication that we got some other types of trees and stuff going on here. This thinner, I put some of the odorless thinner in this with this brush, and we're just sort of throwing in some nice looking weeds or something there. And if you were painting this in color, they might be a different color. They might be green for all you know, for all I know. A couple of things over here. Let's finish that. Okay, so we've kind of got that pretty much finished. I'm going to come back, I think, and put a few white. Let me get my white brush out here. And just put a little snow on these branches here. They'll help them stand out even better here and there. Wherever I can do that over the dark, it's going to help tell the story that there's snow on the ground, and the snow, whatever snow was on them, hasn't totally melted on these. So you have to be careful with this. You got to turn your brush back and forth because the brush picks up the black, right, and it puts it back down in sort of a gray. So you got to like wipe the brush, get more paint, come back and hit it again with some other few more stabs here and there. All right, so we've got enough of these, I think, to tell the story of those trees. All right. Now, I've got the rocks in, got the all the fine stuff over here. ready to work on this other side over here, and then we'll be finished. I'm going to come over to the right side. I'm going to do same kind of thing. I'm only going to do 2 trees this time instead of 1. So let's. I don't want these to be. I don't want them to be perpendicular to the edge. You will need to always think about that in your compositions. Try not to make your trees perpendicular to the edge of the canvas. Try to give them some sort of an angle. Have them lean into the painting if you can, so they help direct the eye. These are kind of thin right now. I think I'm going to come back and put another layer on them, I think. Make them a little whiter, a little fatter. Need to be a little fatter than that, probably. Again, I'm putting the black, darkest dark on the left side. Something like that, just a couple. These don't have to be as big as the ones on the left. They can be much smaller. So I'm going to leave them a little smaller. Put in a few. More paint on the brush. Take these all the way down to the ground. What the heck? Make them a little thinner up the top. Maybe leave a gap or 2 in there. Actually, we can let them kind of join in some spots. Put a few more little jobs over here. Okay. What have I got going on over here? I've got some more stuff going on, more try a little more dark in here. Put a couple little babies out here, maybe. I don't know, just make up whatever you want. There's no set pattern for this. It doesn't have to be a specific type of tree. It doesn't have to have a specific type of branches. You can even have some of these branches are something like that. I think I want just a couple more things in here where I left a gap. All right, let's leave that and come back and get my white brush and come back and get some snow to put on top of these. Gotta keep the dark out of the brush if you can. Wipe it out, get more paint. That's why you use so much titanium white in this thing, because it's it just covers up the brush with that black that's on there. And if I did it the other way around, if I put the white on first and came back with the black, it would do the same thing. It would cover the black up. So it's just the nature of painting wet in wet that you have to deal with, making sure you keep your brush fairly clean. You don't have a lot of paint in it from touching down on other. Those look kind of sparse and spindly over there. I think I'm going to add just a few more branches in here and make them just a little thicker. Yeah, something like this. There we go. That's a little better, makes them just not quite so frail or whatever. All right, that'll do for now. Got some white on there. I'm going to get my script liner here. I'll go put in some more little details in here of some trees or broken off branches or whatever. Throw in some all kind of stuff here. There could be broken off trees. This is a sort of a hilly area. I want to put in a few dark trunk lines in here to help tell the story more there. May not look obvious to you, but to me, I'm up pretty close here, so I want to try to handle that if I can. I could put some rocks in here. When I do that, I want to put some sort of a rock or two down here. Let's make this look like we got some. I don't know if I did that on the original painting. I don't think I did, but I'm going to make it look like there's more rocky stuff going on here. Something like that. Let's come back and put it down there. And okay, we're just about an hour, so that's about right, I think, for this. I think I'm going to put in just a little snow on top of these here, like that. The snow tells you that what's under it. It's kind of like a something like that. Let's join them into the bottom of the mountain here, or the cliff, or whatever this is, and put this in. Now I'm going to come back. The thing I wanted to do is do a little more pounding with my, I'm going to put some liquid white and some titanium white together in this half round brush, half size round it's called. We're going to put some bushes in here that sort of has some snow on them. Okay. Get the black in there, you got to wipe it out. More white, titanium white. Put just a few more things in here like that. Come on the other side, we're going to do the same thing over there. We're going to put some bushes that have some, I'm going to make some bushes. We have some bushes in there, but I'm going to just sort of pound it in and make it look like we've got bushes and stuff that's got snow all over them. Okay, we got some rocks that are sort of sticking out of the snow. Again, little happy accidents. Okay. Okay, folks, I think that's might be about all I want to do there. Step back and look at this for a minute and see what I think of it. Oops, let's see here. Looks like it could be a little darker in here maybe to show some of the, a little bit more of this water that's sort of running in here. I didn't have it quite as dark as I did in the original, so let's see if that helps. Oops, I just made a mess. I'm trying to read my computer here, Alan. You were typing to Adam Roberts, rather. Like this painting. Definitely going to try it. Well, great. I'm glad you like it. It's pretty simple with the three-color scheme, and you don't have to do too much else if you can certainly work with. Don't have much to pick from. That's the thing. You don't have to pick from a lot of different colors. You just kind of say, well, is it black or is it white, or do I want to put a little alizarin in it? You know, that's about the extent of it. Then the rest of it's just all brush strokes, just sort of making these things flow together and look like it's all part of a stream or a river. Something flows between these mountains, cliffs. All right, I don't even know where to put my name on this one. Everything's so dark and white and black. Let's see, find a little spot here. Maybe if I can get it dark enough, put some alizarin in it maybe. Yeah, it's a cold looking painting. That's what the black with the blue in it, and the even the alizarin is a cold color, so they all help do that. Man, I can't read that at all. Looks like I'm going to have to highlight that with some white maybe. All right, so there, can't see that at all. I don't need to make you watch me put my signature on. I can do that after a while if I need to. Let's see here. Thank you very much for being here. Thanks for watching. And hope you give this a try. The original photo was on my website, and you can get the link below here and give it a try. I think I came pretty close to the original. I made a few conscious decisions different, but it's really that's about as traditional a Bob Ross painting I think as I can make in terms of how he did it, the techniques he used, and it's just that we only had a small palette of 3 colors. So anyway, thanks for being here. And check out my Facebook page, check out my Patreon site. Please subscribe if you're not a subscriber. Please share this with your friends if you like it. And check out my website, get the photos of the original out there, and you can use that. There's even a grid out there that has the 5x4 matrix on it that you can use to kind of lay this out if you want the grid. So I think with that being said, I'll say so long for now. I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye. Okay.